Holland's framework forms a basis that allows us to understand our vocational preferences from an internal and external perspective. There are 6 various vocational preferences, including realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional, which all have varying skill sets, approaches to problem solving, and job interests.
Each one of us here today will explain our own individual vocational preferences and then discuss the ability this gives us in order to transition from university life into the workforce. Personally, I fit under 2 of Holland's vocational typologies. These are realistic and social.
To get to the other side.
On the other hand, I also fit under the social typology. I love working with people to help them achieve their goals and nurture them into something better than what they currently are. I believe I'm a great communicator and can speak or perform in front of an audience with no problem at all, which I've previously done. I have formerly coached soccer for 3 consecutive years and successfully led them to 2 championships. My friends, family and classmates also mention I work well in teams. These qualities indicate a direct connection with the social type, as these sorts of people enjoy teaching, informing, coaching, while viewing problems from a human perspective, which I always try and do. Oh, didn't see that. Just give me 1 sec. From an internal perspective, I thoroughly enjoy working with my hands to design, build, and repair. I also enjoy working outdoors while trying to practically solve problems. From an external perspective, family and friends have recognized my ability to work operating tools and machinery, which I pursued by working for a mechanical engineering firm. This alludes towards the realistic type, as many of these jobs have heavy emphasis on the use of one's own hands while working in an outdoor environment.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up. In my current employment position, I am frequently asked to train new employees in the processes and systems of our cafe, including the till systems and sequence of service. Externally, this shows that my managers have recognised my skills as a leader and a teacher, seeing as I've only worked there for a few months, and I'm often required to fulfil this role. Internally, I find that I enjoy working with other people and seeing them succeed, as well as being empathetic and sensitive to the needs of others. These activities and personality traits align with the social typology as it is centred around helping and the concern for others' well-being, as well as solving problems in human relations terms. I also find that I fall under the conventional typology. I am a super organised person with lists for everything in my life, from weekly planners, monthly planners, and you can't go past a good yearly wall planner. While I'm fine with working in teams, I do find that my best work is usually done when I work as an individual, independently working at tasks, setting goals and deadlines, and working through processes that I've established for myself. Externally, friends always come to me to organise events such as birthdays or holidays, as I'm regarded as being very organised and want to think through all the potential options. These internal and external qualities exhibit attributes of the conventional typology, as they are people who enjoy organisation, planning, accuracy, and following procedures, as I clearly do.
Even within our group of 4 people, we have found that we relate differently to each typology, and evidently have different vocational preferences. I'll now hand over to these 2 to discuss their vocational preferences.
The 2 typologies which best represent my personality are investigative and enterprising. Throughout my life, I have found that I am most engaged in tasks which are oriented around problem solving, and that the more challenging the task is, the more rewarding. These kinds of tasks require logical thinking, careful analysis, and experimentation. They also tend to pay less attention to personal feelings. From an outside perspective, people recognize these qualities in me, and I find that people call upon me when they have problems which need to be solved. Based on this, I consider myself to align with the investigative typology. This typology is defined by its preference for activities which require exploration and, as the name suggests, investigation. It encourages knowledge through scholarship and analytical thinking. In applying Holland's framework, my vocational preferences would too be characterized by this typology. These occupations would be defined by the same analytical and intellectual traits, some examples being natural scientists, research and analysis, and lab technicians. The second typology I believe reflects my personality is enterprising. Although quite different and distinct from investigative, it is equally important. This sheds light onto the uniqueness of each person's personality. When in a group, I often persuade and influence others. These tendencies fall within the enterprising typology, which highly values social status and interpersonal skills. However, it generally avoids scientific and intellectual topics, which contrast with some of the characteristics of the investigative typology. Therefore, I fall broadly within these categories, However, there are certain characteristics from each which are more applicable.
The social typology reflects my personality well, as I enjoy and perform better in group settings. My work ethic and enjoyment are enhanced when I work in a group rather than independently. My preference is to listen to others and express my ideas when necessary rather than to lead. I'm always willing to support others, but also to employ the help of others depending on the situation and the strengths of the group. These personal qualities reflect the social typology, which is defined as individuals who like to work with people and perceive problems in a social context. The artistic typology also reflects my personality, as I like to create, communicate, and express myself and my feelings. Throughout university, I've had more success in tasks which require me to think creatively and express my personal ideas, rather than in tasks which require calculations or using computer programs. I also perceive problems in what the framework describes as an artistic context, as I approach problems with intuition, instinct, and originality. My hobbies also include drawing, casually producing music, and playing instruments. Due to these personal qualities, Holland's framework would also categorize me under the artistic typology, as this typology defines individuals whose expression manifests through art, music, or drama, excelling at speaking and writing also.
It is generally accepted that an individual will thrive in a workplace where there is a perceived fit between their personality type and the characteristics of their work environment. By considering your own personality typology and vocational preferences when transitioning from university to work, you will be able to identify jobs that will provide greater satisfaction, career stability, and overall performance in the workplace. In order to aid this transition, there are some strategies that you can implement. I'll just go and grab someone who can explain them to you. Here's the man we're looking for.
Oh, hey. One strategy to be implemented is gaining work experience through a part-time job. Having a part-time job allows undergrads to develop essential skills for the workforce, including communication, customer service, cultural awareness, multitasking, professionalism, and working in a team. This combats the challenges of a lack of experience and skills and changing culture, as it gives university students a taste of what it will be like once they leave the university and enter the workforce. It also gives you interesting points and references to add to your CV, which may make it far more attractive for potential employers. Who's that?
Got another strat.
Alright.
Building off of the first is to apply for internships in the final year of university in a firm relevant to the potential jobs that you might want in the future. By having an internship, uni students get to experience the environment of the workplace and the tasks they're required to perform. This reduces inflated expectations as students are given a realistic example of their potential future job. This creates more realistic expectations for when they begin their first job. It also further helps them to acclimatize to a different culture.
Finally, it's always good to have a backup plan. This is because you may not always find your dream job straight away, and having a backup plan will help you remain resilient and prepared as you work through any adversity that you may face. Moving forward, if you can understand your vocational preferences and take on board these strategies, this will help you transition from university to work.
We just want to say thanks for listening and
Adios.